Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's a brother Bolo VNR. We're going to examine two articles, and this has to do with the finances of our country. And I'm not going to waste any time because you see, a lot of people don't like to read and they don't like to hear people read either. I'm not the best reader, but I try. And let's get into this article because I think it's extremely important. And Simone said, I am afraid for Mark Golding because I think he have some stitch around him. Listen, man, the snakes will always slither, But once he's true to the Most High, he'll be alright. He'll be okay. Alright? If it's God's plan for Mark Golding to be the Prime Minister of Jamaica, which I believe it's ordained, and I've got some subtle confirmations of that. Don't worry about it. Him covered. Him covered under the blood. You understand? Jamaica-born Michael Lee Chin's personal investment companies are still in deep discussions with bondholders, even as new disclosure revealed that the iconic chairman of NCB Financial Group, the North Caribbean island largest financial institution, could lose control of the company that he acquired a majority stake of in 2002. NCBFG, that is the National Commercial Bank Financial Group, I believe that's the acronym's name, which is gearing up to raise US 300 million, wow, on the international capital market this week, released a preliminary offer memorandum last week outlining the various risks tied to upcoming transaction. Chief among them is 50.5% of the NCB's FG shares are currently pledged by Lee Chin, the group's founder, chairman, and controller stakeholder, for money that he raised from companies he controls. Let's read that again. Chief among them, 50.5% of NCB shares are currently pledged by Lee Chin, the group's founder, chairman, and controlling stakeholder, for money that he raised from companies he controls. 50% of his shares is pledged. Talks with bondholders have been ongoing since last year, with activity ramping up between March and June for several bonds. Specialty Coffee Investment Company Limited, one of Lee Chin's entities, has been in discussion over a Jamaican 1.9 billion. Ooh. What? A Jamaican 1.9 billion or US 11.84 million bond. According to the Jamaica Gleaner, there have been no public updates in recent times, but bondholders have rejected some extension requests. Mighty God. AIC Barbados Limited, another Lee Chin affiliate, held a bondholder meeting on April 23rd to discuss 12 instruments with a combined face value of US 72.84 million. US 72.84 million US dollars. An AIC bond valued at 1.5 billion. That's Jamaican though. US 9.35 million. Secured 1-year extension last December. Oh, there's more. There's more. Separately, AIC Barbados has been offloading shares on the Jamaica Stock Exchange over the last 2 years, with 53,993,194 shares sold between June 2023 and March 2025. That has raised over $3 billion Jamaican dollars. That's US 20.19 million. Between January and March, the company sold 10.31 million shares, raising Jamaican 509 million, US 3.18. And meanwhile, Portland Barbados Limited also has several bonds in play. A US 80 million bond came up for discussion on March 13th, followed by the US 7.5 million noted on May 27th. One of its bonds, valued at US 10.49 million, failed to get the required votes for an extension through to October 2027. Damn! More meetings are... No, that's embarrassing. That is embarrassing.
He needs some milk.
Wow. Wow, that's embarrassing. More meetings are scheduled for June 10th and 11th, which is tomorrow, and the next day. Oh, this is going to be interesting, to address other outstanding obligations. According to the June 4th offering memorandum, as of the date of this offering memorandum, certain of these bonds are delinquent with respects to principal and interest payments. Right? A plan has been submitted. A plan has been submitted. We're right here. For those who want to follow. I'm right at this yeah. A plan right up here, so a plan has been submitted to the relevant bondholders for approval, seeking a deferral and restructuring of the affected payment obligations. What is a deferral? What is that? A deferral is a postponement of action or event. Okay. So it says here, they're seeking a deferral, a postponement, restructuring of the affected payment obligation. Approval of the plan by the bondholders remain pending. Given the delinquencies and considering the possibilities of future defaults, enforcement of the related security interests could result in our controlling shareholder and chairman losing control of the group without the consent of other shareholders or note holders. Damn!
Embarrassing. He needs some milk.
Something not right, my wisdom warriors. Something is not right. Tell about them.
Emotional damage.
How you doing, Sonia? Boy, Simon. This no normal. Joan Sinclair, how you doing? Patricia, what's up? Pick up yourself. Me now look on the chat now. Me I read. Anyway, so according to this, ladies and gentlemen, the chairman, now chairman Mr. Leachin, could lose control of the group without the consent of the other shareholders and note holders. People, this not safe. A NCB we are talking about now. A NCB we are talking about now. In the event, the enforcement of the pledge of shares result in agreement for any person or group to acquire beneficial ownership of 20% or more of our outstanding shares. Such agreement would be subject to central bank approval. A new substantial or controlling shareholder may also have different strategy priorities and operational approach that could adversely affect our business results of operation and financial conditions, the document stated. People, we have to read that again. This is a very important part of this article. This right here, sir, when I highlight in blue, this whole paragraph, it says, in the event the enforcement of pledge of the shares result in an agreement for any person or group to acquire beneficial ownership of 20% or more of our outstanding shares, such agreement would be subject to central bank approval. A new substantial or controlling shareholder may also have different strategy, priorities, or operational approach that could adversely affect our business, results of operations, financial conditions. The document said, mighty God. Sharon, what's up, Sharon? How you doing, my love? It's good to see you, love. Like up the live, ladies and gentlemen, please. That's all I can ask. And remember, if you want to donate, the donation link is right there in front of you. You can donate to the Cash App, PayPal, and the cell is available. Anyway, moving on. Big up Nightbot. Nightbot is dropping everything in the chat. All the information you need. Portland, Barbados had a US $23 million bond registered in Trinidad and Tobago, which was set to mature in April 2024. The bond structured with a final bullet payment, right, was not repaid on its due date. Portland subsequently entered into negotiations with investors and the outstanding amount was cleared by September 2024. Investors initially assessed the US $4 million in cash collateral, followed by 3 additional payments by Portland, totaling $16 million US dollars. That bond carried an interest rate of 10.25%, inclusive of 2% default premium applied due to the missed maturity. Republic Bank Limited served as trustee for the instrument, which mostly offered to Trinidad and Tobago investors. NCBFG is listed on both the Jamaica Stock Exchange and the Trinidad Stock Exchange. A NCBFG source told Sunday Business Guardian that the NCBFG has over 1,600 shareholders on its TNT register. That does not mean they are all residents of Trinidad and Tobago, right? And that they are not Trinidad or that they are not Trinidad and Tobago residents who are on its registry in Jamaica. Interesting. NCBFG has a total of 47,698 shareholders. Damn. As at March 31st. NCB dividend of Jamaica 50 cents is to be paid tomorrow. What? Which will provide shareholders with a total of Jamaican $1.9 billion Jamaican dollars. Yo, I am so confused. What do I mean by dividend? No, I'm have to go look up that word there. Dividend. Yeah, dividend, that already messed me up because it moved from 50 cents to, what do you mean by dividend? What's that? Dividend. Dividend means sum of money paid regularly, typically annually, by a company to its shareholders out of its profits or reserves. A number to be divided by another number. Hold up. Wait a minute. Wait. So the dividend of 50 cents is to be paid tomorrow. This article was when? This article is June 9th. So what you tell me say? What they really tell me say? Tomorrow as in the 10th? which will provide shareholders with a total of Jamaica $1.29 billion. AIC Barbados is set to receive 593.53 million Jamaican dollars. A company called NCB Global Holdings Limited, a subsidiary of NCBFG, owns 61.7% of Westmoreland Headquarters Guardian Holding Limited, GHL. A disclosure in GHL's 2024 annual report indicates Michael Leachin has a majority control position in NCB Global Holding Limited, which is the beneficial owner of 61.7% of the outstanding shares in GHL. Service agreement. The information memorandum also disclosed that the services agreement between NCBFG and AIC Global Holding Inc. is set to conclude at the end of July 2025. AIC Global, a company owned by Leachin, has been provided administrative and other supportive functions to NCB and its subsidiary under a contract with an annual base fee of US $4.8 million. The company received over $10 million in 2024 and further US $6.4 million between October 2024 and March 2025. All contractual partners due to the termination date has been already settled. As of the day of this offering memorandum, Mr. Lee remains the chairman of the board, with the terms of his modified engagement currently being negotiated and which are expected to be consistent with the terms of engagement applied to his role vis-a-vis those of other non-executive director of the board, the disclosure noted. Clarion Bank, the document also referred NCB agreement to sell 30.2% of its stake in Bermuda-based Clarion Group to Cornerstone Financial Holdings Limited on May 8, 2025. The long stop date of the sale and purchase agreement expired, and the parties elected not to extend the agreement. NCBFG acquired its original 50.1% stake in Clarion in December 2027. The NCB acquisition coincided with Portland's Private Equity Limited, which is controlled by Leachin, acquiring a 17.92% stake in Clarion for US $10 million. According to a June 14, 2024 article in the Jamaica Observer, so according to the memorandum, I think this is the end, right? Woo! According to the memorandum, following the expiration of sale and purchase agreement in June 2025, NCBFG was advised that the previously agreed exit provision for a minority shareholder group in CGL private equity funds, in which Honorable Michael A. Leachin, OG, and Robert Almeida, the chairman and group CEO of NCBFG, respectively, each holds an interest, will be triggered by the minority shareholder group, pursuant to which NCBFG will acquire an additional 17.9% stake in Clarion Group from the minority shareholder group at the fair market value of CGL shares, as will be determined by an expert or another mutually agreed method in accordance with the applicable stakeholders agreement. The offering memorandum states that as of the date of the offering memorandum and based on the recently expired transaction, we estimate the fair value of which the minority stake in Clarion Group will acquire to be approximately US $20 million. What? Hold up. Wait. The offering memorandum states that as of the date of the offering memorandum and based on the recently expired transaction, they estimate the fair value of the minority stake in the Clarion Group will require an approximately US $20 million. What on, Sonia? Sonia M. Big up yourself. I will Sharon say. Sharon says Sagicor fi sue them if them refuse to pay. Me not get involved in for them business. Alright. Them have something a big people. You them money and they figure ya. Huh? Mighty God. Anyway, moving on to the cleaner. That I'm leaching. People, Pan Jamaica to offload holdings worth $6 billion. This was yesterday. Pan Jamaica Group Limited will be divesting a mix of listed equities and funds worth $6 billion. Vice Chairman and CEO Jeffrey Hall has said it is to remove assets that we don't want to have control over in terms of the timing of cash flows. Hall said Thursday at the company's annual general meeting held at the ROK Hotel, which is owned by Pan Jam. The group currently holds 37.6 billion in capital. Ooh. Down slightly from a 38.5 billion. Okay, I see what happened. Recorded a year earlier, so them lose money. Its average return on capital was 6% in 2024, compared to a 4.2% in 2023. Returns fell into single-digit range at less than 8% at the onset of the pandemic in 2020. Okay. Prior to that, turning points returns were at 21.7%. So, ladies and gentlemen, prior to 2020, they had returns of 21.7%. Right? In 2023, it was 4.2%. 3 years prior to 2020. Pandemic do a lot of damage, eh? And then in 2024, it was 6%. Mighty God. The company intends to redeploy capital into ventures with more consistent earnings to improve returns. Hall noted that the Jamaican Producer Group, which merged its operating assets with Pan Jam in 2023, historically recorded an average return on capital of 15%. Oh, that's the no. Last year, Pan Jam exited the Downing Street Realty Fund X. Well, that looks like 9. X1 looks like 9. A Canadian based fund for 553 million, from which it raised a gain of 350 million. Additionally, the group disposed of land in Norbrook, St. Andrew, citing its incompatibility with core operations. Raslin, how you doing? Good to see you, love. The land in question was in Norbrook and therefore zoned as residential, making it outside of our focus, Hall explained, referring the group's property segment with priorities retail stores, business hotels, commercial real estate. While the group invests in warehousing within its logistics operations, it generally avoids residential deployment Pan Jamaica operates across four main segments: property, logistics, food, and finance. Within its property division, Hall noted that a Montego Bay property remained under active consideration for development. He declined to give details. The intention is to develop the land within our strategic objectives. As said before, it could be retail, business hotels, and cooperative offices, said Hall. For the March 1st quarter, Pan Jamaica report a net profit of 2.1 billion, reflecting an 81% year-on-year increase. Its cash holdings improved 11% to 15.7 billion. Amen. In March now what day, man? They reported a net of 2.1 billion. Cash holding improved 11%. So, I want to think about these people. I want to think so this is one good sign. Offloading $6 billion worth of assets between NCB and this. I want to think. Some look shakiness there night to me still now. Right? Just using my noggin. Your birthday, my Robinson. Yeah, one day for your family, okay. Oh yeah, I try so hard. I don't know, man. I want to hear from the experts. The experts in financing. I would love to hear from you guys in regards to these particular articles. Right? But I wanted to share that with y'all. So Leechin, why? The way all this look, look good, but then, hey, get the right people to advocate for you, who knows. But NCB really looks like it's in a pickle. It does. It really does. What does that mean for the people that have an account there? Yeah, I'm definitely not qualified to even speak, but at some point in your life, you have to use your gut feeling. God gave us, all of us, that connection. Yeah, even when you're sleeping, yeah, you'll get nudged. All right, so you know what y'all think about that, man? You know what y'all think?